Hello, and welcome to the Second Breakfast Club. Hope you're having a wonderful day and an even better breakfast. Now, I'm making this video. It's going to be my review of Episode 1 for the Rings of Power. I watched it on the night it aired. It's a couple days later. It's Saturday now while I'm recording this. And the reason I've been kind of waiting so long to try to get this review out is because I wanted to rewatch the episodes again. I just finished rewatching Episode 1, and I took down some notes here in my little Lord of the Rings notebook I got here of things I wanted to try to touch on and thoughts that I had while watching the show. So I think to start, before I get into the nitty-gritty of what I liked and didn't like, I just want to say that the show surprised me in ways that I didn't think it was going to. Good ways and bad ways. But there are some things that I'm surprised that I actually ended up liking. And other things that I can say that my predictions and assumptions of what the show would do were correct. All in all, to me, this episode, it was boring. The pacing was just seemed too slow for me. I wasn't hooked into any of the scenes, really. Nothing got me, nothing grabbed my attention that much. I mean, I thought some things were interesting for sure, but there was nothing that emotionally pulled me in. No moments like that. And I felt like there were a lot of things, like in the prologue, I wish we could have seen more of. I wish they didn't take some of the canon characters. I wish they weren't portraying the canon characters the way they are. Some people are okay with the way they look. Some people are not. I can't get past the short hair. It really bothers me. And that's such a small thing, but it takes away the immersion. To me, it makes them look like elves from any generic fantasy. And that's what a lot of this kind of feels like too. It just feels like a generic fantasy so far. And as a generic fantasy, it's fantastic. Again, the shots in this show are beautiful. They're amazing. But and the scenery makes me think of Middle Earth. And those landscape shots and stuff, that's Middle Earth to me. But once you get down into the characters and the way they're portrayed, and the writing, and it doesn't reflect the Middle Earth that I have in my mind, at least. And I think that with the characters like Galadriel, Elrond, and Gil-galad, they're really doing them a disservice with the way they're being portrayed. And maybe they're just portrayed that way to set up fulfilling character arcs or something, and changes in the way they're going to behave. And maybe, by the end, Galadriel's going to actually seem like the wise and powerful elf she's supposed to be, and not this rebellious teenager who is defiant and I don't like it. I don't like it, but we'll see where it goes. I can only hope that they, in future episodes, take the characters in a way that seems more familiar to how they're represented in Tolkien's work, and even how Peter Jackson portrayed them as well. I think it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's not the masterpiece that I would have liked to have seen on screen. I think for this first episode, if I had to rate this episode, honestly, I think I'd have to give it a 5. I don't think I can justify going any higher than that. So out of 1 out of 10, I'd have to give it a 5. Because the only thing that was great to me in this show was the landscape shots. And you can see just how beautiful everything is in the show. But that's about it. And another thing that a lot of people have given praise to, and I don't personally agree, is the soundtrack. Soundtrack sucks, in my opinion. Not once in the whole episode has the soundtrack stood out to me in a grand way. When you're watching Lord of the Rings and the soundtrack in that, when it plays, That's a powerful soundtrack. I couldn't hum anything. I couldn't hum a tune from the soundtrack in this first episode. And I'll say the same about the next episode. I couldn't hum a tune of anything. Like, nothing stood out as memorable to me. So I don't really understand where people are coming from saying that the soundtrack's really good, because to me it doesn't stand out. It sounds like just more generic fantasy type music. So yeah, that's a negative for me. Five out of 10 for this first episode. It was just average, underwhelming, and disappointing in some areas, where then also in other areas it was surprising. Things that I really enjoyed that I didn't think I was gonna like Arondir. I liked him, and I do actually like Elrond in certain situations, especially when we get into episode 2. Episode 2, again, I think is much better, and we will I'll talk about that one in the next video. But for now, thank you for watching this review. I hope I didn't blabber on too much about random nonsensical bullshit. And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, leave a comment down below. There'll be a link in the description for my Discord channel. You can join there. I have a channel. I have a section in that channel specifically meant for Rings of Power and talking about it, predictions and theories and all sorts of stuff, and relative to other of my Lord of the Rings content, gaming and stuff. So if you're interested, join my Discord. And if you're looking to support the channel and help me to continue to produce content, you can also go over to my Patreon and sign up to be a member. As far as my Patreon goes, I haven't figured out kind of like what to offer with it, other than like, hey, you just kind of support me. So if you do have any suggestions on that and you're interested in joining the Patreon, feel free to message me about it, and we can talk and you can give me some tips. But for now, thank you. Take care.